In the icy heart of upstate New York lies a prison so notorious that even hardened criminals fear its walls. Clinton Correctional Facility, nicknamed Little Siberia, is not just a maximum security prison. It's the stage of one of the most audacious escapes in modern history. This is the story of survival, desperation, and the human will to break free. Clinton Correctional Facility, located in the small town of Dannemora, New York, stands as one of the most infamous maximum security prisons in the United States. Nestled in the northern reaches of New York State, just a few miles from the Canadian border, the prison is surrounded by dense forests, icy rivers, and rugged terrain that make it not only physically isolated but also psychologically intimidating. Its location in this remote area is no accident. The prison was strategically placed to reduce the possibility of escapes, with natural barriers that make flight nearly impossible, especially during the harsh winters that dominate the region. The surrounding environment has earned the facility its chilling nickname, Little Siberia, and for good reason. The temperatures can plummet well below zero, snowstorms can isolate the facility for days, and the unforgiving landscape alone is a deterrent to anyone considering escape. The prison itself was established in 1845, making it one of the older correctional institutions in New York State. Over its long history, Clinton Correctional Facility has served as a testing ground for some of the most rigorous security protocols in the country. Initially, the prison was built to house convicts who had committed serious crimes, but over time, it evolved to become a maximum security institution specifically designed to hold the most dangerous and high-risk offenders. Its architecture reflects this purpose. High stone walls topped with razor wire, watchtowers looming over the facility at strategic points, and a network of corridors and cell blocks designed to maximize surveillance while limiting the freedom of movement of its inmates. The design and construction of the facility were deliberate, ensuring that any attempt to escape would require extraordinary planning and determination. Clinton Correctional Facility's reputation for toughness is also tied to its historical role in New York's penal system. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, the prison became known for its strict routines, rigid discipline, and the use of solitary confinement to manage particularly dangerous inmates. Unlike some other correctional facilities that allowed for rehabilitation programs or work release options, Clinton has historically focused on containment and control, making it a place where the physical and mental strain on inmates is severe. The remote location contributed to this environment, as inmates were isolated from outside contact, and visits were limited and difficult to arrange. Even prison staff had to contend with the isolation, living in the small nearby community of Dannemora or commuting long distances through snow-covered roads and challenging conditions. The town of Dannemora itself is small, with a population of just a few thousand, yet it is inextricably linked to the prison. For decades, the facility has been one of the largest employers in the area, with generations of families working as corrections officers, administrative staff, and maintenance personnel. The relationship between the prison and the town is symbiotic yet tense. On one hand, the facility provides economic stability. On the other, it has cast a shadow over the region, creating a sense of living next to a fortress that houses society's most dangerous individuals. This proximity has given rise to local legends, rumors, and a fascination with the inner workings of the prison that often spills over into popular culture. Geographically, the prison is uniquely situated to take advantage of natural defenses. Winters in northern New York are notoriously brutal, with heavy snowfall, sub-zero temperatures, and icy winds that make traversing the landscape nearly impossible without proper preparation. The dense woods surrounding the prison act as both a visual barrier and a physical challenge for anyone attempting to navigate the terrain. Rivers and marshes nearby freeze during winter but can be treacherous, creating natural traps for escapees. Even with modern technology including motion sensors, cameras, and high walls, the location itself is one of the facility's most effective security measures. In many ways, the prison's geography is a silent partner in maintaining order. It punishes the unprepared and rewards only those with the utmost resilience and resourcefulness. Over the decades, Clinton Correctional Facility has evolved to incorporate modern security technologies, but its fundamental reliance on location and isolation remains unchanged. From the earliest days when guards patrolled its stone walls with muskets, to today, where state-of-the-art surveillance systems monitor every corridor, the prison's remote setting has always amplified its control. It is a place designed to break spirits as much as it confines bodies, and its long history has only cemented its reputation as one of the toughest prisons in the nation. The story of Clinton Correctional Facility is not just about a building or a town. It is about the intersection of geography, architecture, and human psychology, creating an institution that has remained both feared and fascinating for more than a century. Clinton Correctional Facility is widely recognized as one of the most secure maximum security prisons in the United States, a reputation earned through decades of housing some of the most dangerous and high-risk inmates in New York State. Unlike medium-security prisons or minimum security facilities, where offenders may have more freedoms and access to rehabilitation programs, maximum security prisons are designed with one primary goal in mind: containment. Every aspect of Clinton Correctional Facility reflects this purpose, from its architecture and surveillance systems to the daily routines imposed upon its inmates. The facility's maximum security classification is not just a label. It is a comprehensive system of controls, policies, and practices designed to minimize the risk of violence, escape, and disorder within the prison walls. At Clinton, maximum security status begins with the physical design of the prison itself. The walls are constructed from reinforced stone and concrete, often several feet thick, topped with razor wire and electric fencing to prevent any physical breach. Guard towers rise above key points along the perimeter, offering unobstructed views of the entire facility. These towers are manned around the clock, with armed officers trained to respond to any threat, whether it's an escape attempt, inmate confrontation, or intrusion from the outside. Within the prison, cell blocks are organized to ensure maximum visibility and control. Inmates are housed in individual cells with solid doors and minimal openings, limiting their ability to communicate freely or coordinate activities. Corridors are narrow and monitored, making it difficult for inmates to move unnoticed. Even small communal areas are designed with observation in mind, ensuring that any suspicious behavior is quickly detected. The types of inmates housed at Clinton Correctional Facility also reflect its maximum security classification. The prison primarily holds individuals convicted of violent crimes, including murder, armed robbery, and assault, as well as those with a history of escaping or attempting to escape from other facilities. These inmates often present heightened risks not only to other prisoners but also to staff, making the facility's strict protocols essential. In addition, some inmates have reputations that extend beyond the prison walls, including organized crime figures and notorious criminals whose presence adds to the tension and intensity of daily life. By concentrating high-risk offenders in a facility like Clinton, the state aims to maintain public safety while also ensuring that the prison environment itself remains manageable despite the constant threat posed by its residents. Security procedures at Clinton extend beyond the physical design and inmate population. Daily routines are meticulously planned to prevent disorder or violence. Inmates follow strict schedules, including designated times for meals, recreation, work, and visitation. Movement within the prison is carefully controlled. Prisoners are escorted by officers whenever they leave their cells or move between different areas of the facility. Searches for contraband are frequent, with both cells and common areas subject to inspection. Surveillance technology, including cameras, motion detectors, and alarm systems, is integrated throughout the prison to monitor activity at all times. Even seemingly small details such as how inmates store personal items or interact with one another are closely regulated to reduce the risk of conflict or manipulation. The human element is just as critical as the physical measures in maintaining Clinton's maximum security status. Corrections officers undergo extensive training, not only in security procedures but also in crisis management, negotiation, and the psychology of high-risk inmates. Staff must remain vigilant at all times, anticipating potential threats and responding calmly under pressure. The relationship between officers and inmates is inherently tense, and the prison's culture emphasizes authority, discipline, and the enforcement of rules. Any lapse in vigilance can have serious consequences, whether it's the smuggling of weapons, the plotting of an escape, or the outbreak of violence. This constant need for awareness underscores why maximum security facilities like Clinton are considered among the most challenging environments for both inmates and staff. The 2015 escape of Richard Matt and David Sweat highlighted the complexities of maintaining maximum security conditions, even in a facility designed to be impenetrable. Despite the prison's extensive security measures, these inmates were able to exploit weaknesses, demonstrating that even the most secure institutions are vulnerable under certain circumstances. The escape prompted a nationwide examination of prison security protocols, staff training, and the allocation of resources for maximum security facilities. It also reinforced the idea that maximum security status is not a guarantee of absolute control. It is a constant balance between infrastructure, human vigilance, and the unpredictable behavior of inmates. Living under maximum security conditions is also psychologically challenging for inmates. Isolation, constant surveillance, and strict routines can lead to stress, anxiety, and tension, making daily life extremely demanding. Inmates must navigate an environment where every action is monitored and every rule is enforced, which can test even the most resilient individuals. The harsh conditions, combined with the high-risk inmate population, create a prison culture that is tense, controlled, and unforgiving. This intensity contributes to Clinton Correctional Facility's reputation as a place where only the most resilient and compliant inmates can endure the demands of life behind bars. In summary, Clinton Correctional Facility's maximum security status is far more than a classification. It is a comprehensive system designed to contain, control, and manage some of the most dangerous individuals in New York State. From its architecture and technology to the training of its staff and the routines imposed on inmates, every element of the prison reflects a relentless focus on security. Yet, even with these measures, incidents like the 2015 escape reveal that maximum security is as much about human judgment and vigilance as it is about walls and towers. The combination of a high-risk inmate population, strict security protocols, and a challenging environment ensures that Clinton remains one of the most formidable correctional facilities in the United States, a true test of control, resilience, and the limits of incarceration. Clinton Correctional Facility has earned the chilling nickname Little Siberia, and it is a title that reflects far more than just a clever moniker. This nickname captures the extreme environmental conditions that define the prison experience, especially during the long, bitter winters of northern New York. Situated in Dannemora near the Canadian border, the facility is enveloped by dense forests, icy rivers, and remote, rugged terrain. These surroundings are not only strategically chosen to deter escape but also contribute to the perception that inmates are being held in a frozen, isolated world far removed from civilization. The winters here are legendary for their severity. Temperatures can plunge below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, snow can accumulate in massive drifts, and blizzards can strike with little warning, trapping inmates and staff alike in an unforgiving, frozen landscape. The nickname Little Siberia is apt because it evokes the sense of desolation, cold, and endurance required to survive in such conditions. Inmates face not only the strict discipline and constant surveillance of a maximum security facility but also the relentless assault of nature itself. Walking across the prison yard during winter can be a brutal challenge. Icy winds cut through clothing, snow and ice make footing treacherous, and the bitter cold can penetrate even the thickest prison-issued garments. The harsh climate is more than a physical discomfort. It has psychological consequences as well. Being confined in an isolated, freezing environment for long periods of time can intensify feelings of loneliness, despair, and stress, which are already heightened in a maximum security prison setting. The extreme winters also have practical implications for both inmates and staff. For prisoners, outdoor recreation and exercise are limited during heavy snowfalls or blizzards, confining them to small indoor spaces for days on end. This restriction can exacerbate tension among inmates, leading to conflicts or emotional strain. For the staff, the weather presents unique challenges in maintaining security and routine operations. Guards must navigate icy roads and snow-covered perimeters, while emergency response plans must account for the possibility of winter storms cutting off access to essential supplies or delaying reinforcement in case of an incident. In essence, the climate itself becomes an additional layer of control and challenge, reinforcing the prison's reputation for toughness. The moniker Little Siberia is also a reminder of the symbolic power of isolation in corrections. Inmates are not only physically confined but are also psychologically reminded of their distance from the outside world through the relentless, cold environment. The starkness of the landscape, the frozen rivers, and the snow-blanketed forests contribute to a sense of remoteness that reinforces the prison's control. This environment is particularly punishing during the winter months, when sunlight is limited, temperatures are consistently low, and the surrounding wilderness becomes a frozen barrier that makes escape or survival outside the prison walls extraordinarily difficult. Even the most resourceful and determined prisoners face extreme risk if they attempt to venture into the snow-covered landscape, making the nickname both literal and metaphorical. The winters at Clinton Correctional Facility also serve as a backdrop for some of its most notorious events, including the 2015 escape of Richard Matt and David Sweat. Their audacious breakout captured national attention not only because of the elaborate planning involved but also because they had to endure the frigid, snow-covered wilderness after leaving the prison. The severity of the environment amplified the danger and desperation of their attempt, demonstrating that Clinton's Little Siberia moniker is not merely a figure of speech. It is a tangible, life-threatening reality for anyone within or attempting to flee the facility. The surrounding forests, icy rivers, and deep snowdrifts created a natural obstacle course that challenged law enforcement and placed the escapees in immediate danger from the elements. The harsh climate also affects the logistics and daily life within the prison. Heating systems must be robust and constantly maintained to ensure that indoor spaces remain habitable, while snow removal and perimeter checks become a daily necessity. Infrastructure and supply chains are tested during extreme weather, making winter operations both expensive and complex. Inmates are provided with additional layers of clothing and bedding, yet even these measures can only partially offset the severity of the cold. Guards and support staff must also contend with frostbite risks, slippery walkways, and the constant need to monitor both the safety of the inmates and the security of the facility. Beyond the physical and logistical challenges, the nickname Little Siberia has entered popular consciousness and contributes to the prison's aura of notoriety. Media coverage, documentaries, and books often emphasize the harsh winters when describing Clinton Correctional Facility, reinforcing the idea that this is not merely a prison. It is a frozen fortress where the environment itself is an active participant in the punishment and containment of inmates. The nickname has become synonymous with endurance, isolation, and the extreme challenges faced by both inmates and staff in maintaining control within such an unforgiving climate. Ultimately, Little Siberia is more than just a weather descriptor. It is a reflection of the unique and punishing conditions that define life at Clinton Correctional Facility. It is a place where walls, surveillance, and human oversight are complemented by the raw power of nature, creating an environment that tests resilience, ingenuity, and willpower. The combination of maximum security measures and extreme climate ensures that Clinton remains one of the most formidable and infamous prisons in the United States, a place where survival is a daily challenge and the frozen landscape is as much a part of the institution as the inmates themselves. One of the most dramatic and widely publicized events in the history of Clinton Correctional Facility occurred in June 2015, when two inmates, Richard Matt and David Sweat, executed an audacious escape that stunned the nation. Their breakout was not only a testament to their determination and cunning but also a shocking revelation of the vulnerabilities that could exist even in a maximum security prison. The escape brought Clinton Correctional Facility into the national spotlight, drawing attention to its security procedures, staff practices, and the extreme challenges posed by housing high-risk inmates in a facility located in one of the coldest and most isolated regions of the United States. Richard Matt, 49, and David Sweat, 34, were both convicted murderers serving life sentences at Clinton. Matt had a history of violence and previous escape attempts, while Sweat was considered highly dangerous due to his violent past and resourcefulness. Despite the facility's strict maximum security measures, the two men managed to exploit weaknesses in the prison's infrastructure over several months, carefully planning every step of their escape. Their actions demonstrated not only their ingenuity but also the painstaking attention to detail that was required to challenge the security of a facility designed to be nearly impenetrable. The escape itself involved a series of complex maneuvers that would be difficult for even experienced law enforcement to anticipate. Using tools smuggled or obtained over time, the inmates were able to cut through steel walls and pipes within the prison, creating a network of hidden tunnels that eventually led to an access point outside the secured perimeter. Their plan required precise timing, coordination, and the ability to move undetected despite the constant surveillance cameras, patrolling guards, and other technological security measures in place. The fact that they were able to bypass such extensive security highlights the ingenuity of their scheme and the extreme lengths to which inmates in maximum security facilities may go to regain freedom. The environment surrounding Clinton Correctional Facility added another layer of difficulty and danger to their escape. Once outside the prison walls, Matt and Sweat faced the harsh terrain and freezing temperatures that define the region, often referred to as Little Siberia. Thick forests, icy rivers, and deep snow made travel perilous, requiring both physical endurance and survival skills. The surrounding wilderness, while providing opportunities for concealment, also posed life-threatening risks, particularly in the middle of June, when lingering snow and cold water hazards could easily incapacitate someone unprepared for the harsh conditions. Every step outside the prison demanded not only caution to avoid capture but also resourcefulness to navigate the unforgiving environment. The manhunt that followed the escape was one of the largest in New York State history. Law enforcement agencies from multiple jurisdictions, including the U.S. Marshals Service, state police, and local sheriffs, mobilized hundreds of officers, helicopters, and search dogs to track down the fugitives. Media coverage was extensive, with live updates, maps, and aerial footage showing the massive scale of the search operation. The escape captivated the public's imagination, drawing comparisons to legendary prison breaks and sparking debates over security protocols and prison management. Citizens in nearby towns were warned to stay indoors and report any suspicious activity, highlighting the perceived danger posed by Matt and Sweat during the 23-day manhunt. Ultimately, the escape ended with Richard Matt being shot and killed by law enforcement in Malone, New York, while David Sweat was captured alive near the Canadian border after days of evading capture. The aftermath of the escape triggered a nationwide review of prison security, staff accountability, and the methods used to supervise maximum security inmates. Investigations revealed lapses in staff vigilance, including failure to notice missing tools and irregularities in prison records. The incident also prompted changes in policies regarding inmate labor, monitoring, and surveillance, as the state sought to prevent any repeat of such a high-profile breakout. The 2015 escape left a lasting impact on the reputation of Clinton Correctional Facility. While the prison had long been considered a formidable institution due to its maximum security classification and isolated location, the breakout exposed vulnerabilities and human errors that undermined that perception. The event became a case study in prison security, demonstrating that even the most secure facilities are not infallible when faced with determined, resourceful inmates. Beyond the security implications, the escape also had a profound psychological effect on both staff and inmates. For corrections officers, it highlighted the constant pressure and responsibility of managing high-risk individuals in a high-stakes environment. For inmates, the breakout served as a rare example of successful defiance against the system, though it also reinforced the dangers of attempting to escape from a facility where nature and surveillance are relentless allies of containment. In the years since, the 2015 escape has become a defining chapter in Clinton Correctional Facility's history, symbolizing both the audacity of those who seek freedom at any cost and the challenges inherent in maintaining control over a population of dangerous offenders. It is a story of careful planning, extreme risk, and the harsh realities of surviving in one of the most formidable prison environments in the country. A true testament to human determination, ingenuity, and the unforgiving nature of maximum security incarceration. The 2015 escape of Richard Matt and David Sweat from Clinton Correctional Facility is often described as one of the most audacious and meticulously executed prison breaks in modern American history. Central to their breakout were the escape methods they employed, methods that demonstrated not only physical skill but also patience, planning, and an almost obsessive attention to detail. Unlike impulsive or opportunistic escape attempts, Matt and Sweat's breakout was the result of months of preparation, careful observation, and the exploitation of both structural vulnerabilities and human oversight within the prison. Their methods reveal how, even in a maximum security facility, resourcefulness and determination can challenge seemingly impenetrable walls. The escape began inside the prison walls, where the two inmates exploited weak points in the facility's infrastructure. Over time, they were able to cut through steel pipes and walls in their assigned work areas. These cuts were not random. They were precise and deliberate, carefully planned to avoid detection by surveillance cameras and the guards' routine inspections. Both men had a keen understanding of the facility's security layout, knowing when and where the blind spots were, and how to move without drawing attention. They used tools that were either smuggled, obtained, or improvised over time, hiding them in inconspicuous locations until the day they would be needed. This methodical approach underscored the level of preparation required to attempt a successful escape from such a tightly controlled environment. Tunnels played a critical role in their breakout. Matt and Sweat created hidden pathways that allowed them to move through sections of the prison unseen. These tunnels were carefully designed to connect key areas of the facility while bypassing surveillance equipment and avoiding guards. Excavating and navigating these tunnels required not only ingenuity but also the ability to work quietly and patiently over long periods. The process demanded physical effort, coordination, and secrecy, as any misstep could have exposed them to immediate punishment or halted their plan entirely. In essence, the tunnels were a lifeline, a hidden route that transformed the structure of the prison into a secret passage toward freedom. Avoiding surveillance was another critical component of their escape. Clinton Correctional Facility is equipped with a network of cameras, motion detectors, and patrolling officers designed to catch even minor violations. Matt and Sweat studied the routines of the guards, learning the timing of patrols and the blind spots in the camera coverage. By understanding these patterns, they were able to move in relative safety during periods when observation was minimal. Their attention to detail extended to even the smallest elements of prison life, including when tools were transported, how doors were accessed, and how to cover up signs of tampering. Their ability to anticipate and exploit gaps in surveillance highlights the importance of human intelligence in addition to physical skill in orchestrating a high-level prison escape. The escape methods also reflected strategic timing and coordination. Matt and Sweat had to synchronize their actions to ensure that both men could progress through different stages of the plan without interfering with one another or triggering alarms. This level of coordination required not only trust but also an understanding of each other's strengths and weaknesses. They had to pace themselves, choosing the right moments to act while avoiding unnecessary risks that could expose the operation. Every step was carefully choreographed to maximize the chance of success, and the patience and discipline required are often overlooked when people focus only on the dramatic outcome of the escape. Once outside the immediate confines of the prison, their escape methods continued to rely on careful planning. The terrain surrounding Clinton Correctional Facility is treacherous, with dense forests, icy rivers, and snow-covered landscapes. The two men had to navigate these obstacles while remaining undetected by search teams that were quickly mobilized. Their escape route took into account natural cover, river crossings, and the potential for encounters with law enforcement. It was a continuation of the same calculated precision they had employed inside the prison, demonstrating that the escape was as much about surviving the environment as it was about evading guards. The ingenuity of their methods also highlighted the limitations of even maximum security systems. Despite surveillance cameras, high walls, and armed guards, the escape showed that determined inmates could identify and exploit weaknesses over time. Matt and Sweat's ability to manipulate their environment, conceal their preparations, and move undetected through the facility exposed flaws in both human supervision and structural security. The escape forced correctional institutions across the country to re-evaluate their protocols, emphasizing the need for regular inspections, updated surveillance technology, and improved staff training. Finally, the escape methods employed by Matt and Sweat serve as a reminder of the lengths to which humans will go when motivated by desperation, ingenuity, and the desire for freedom. It was not brute force or reckless daring that defined their breakout, but patient observation, careful planning, and the innovative use of both physical and environmental tools. From cutting through steel to tunneling unseen and avoiding constant surveillance, their methods created a blueprint for one of the most remarkable and chilling prison escapes in U.S. history, a combination of human cunning, resilience, and audacity against a backdrop of extreme security and isolation. The escape of Richard, Matt, and David Sweat from Clinton Correctional Facility did not end with their successful breach of the prison walls. It triggered one of the largest and most intensive manhunts in New York State history, lasting 23 days and captivating the nation. The aftermath of the escape was a dramatic display of law enforcement coordination, strategic planning, and the sheer urgency of capturing two highly dangerous fugitives who were armed, desperate, and determined to evade capture. This massive search highlighted not only the scale of the challenge but also the extreme risks faced by both the escapees and the officers tasked with bringing them back into custody. From the moment the escape was discovered, law enforcement agencies mobilized quickly. Local police, the New York State Police, the U.S. Marshals Service, the FBI, and other federal and state agencies all converged on the region surrounding Clinton Correctional Facility. Helicopters scoured the dense forest from above, while teams of officers patrolled on foot, snowmobiles, and vehicles in rugged and often treacherous terrain. K-9 units were deployed to track scent trails, and checkpoints were established along highways, trails, and rural roads to intercept the fugitives. The coordination required for such a large-scale operation was immense, involving real-time communication across agencies, division of search sectors, and continuous adaptation to new intelligence as it emerged. The geography of the area complicated the manhunt significantly. Clinton Correctional Facility is located near the Adirondack Mountains, with dense forests, uneven terrain, frozen rivers, and remote areas that provided both concealment and danger. Matt and Sweat, familiar with survival tactics and capable of navigating difficult terrain, used the natural landscape to their advantage. Law enforcement had to account not only for the possibility that the fugitives were hiding in the woods but also for environmental hazards such as ice-covered rivers, mud, and extreme cold. Search teams often had to operate under physically demanding conditions, trekking long distances in snow or mud while remaining vigilant for any signs of the escapees. The public quickly became aware of the manhunt through intense media coverage. News outlets broadcasted live updates, maps of the search area, and safety warnings, creating a climate of both fear and fascination. Residents of nearby towns were advised to stay indoors, secure their property, and report any suspicious activity immediately. This public engagement was critical for both safety and intelligence gathering, as even small tips or sightings could help law enforcement locate the fugitives. The media frenzy also amplified the sense of urgency and drama surrounding the escape, making it one of the most widely followed criminal events of the year. The manhunt itself revealed the dangerous and unpredictable nature of pursuing highly motivated fugitives. Richard Matt, in particular, was considered extremely violent and was later killed in a confrontation with law enforcement. David Sweat remained on the run for several more days, using the forest and river systems to avoid capture. Every day of the manhunt increased the pressure on law enforcement to contain and capture the fugitives while also preventing harm to civilians. Officers had to balance aggression with caution, ensuring that any engagement minimized risk to themselves and the public. The 23-day search ultimately tested the resources, endurance, and coordination of all involved. It required constant surveillance, with helicopters flying day and night, officers covering large sectors, and personnel rotating shifts to maintain a continuous presence. Food, shelter, and medical support for the search teams had to be managed alongside tactical planning, creating a logistical challenge on a scale rarely seen in manhunts. The dedication of the personnel involved, many of whom were working under extreme physical and psychological stress, was critical in ultimately ending the escape. The aftermath of the manhunt also prompted significant review and reform within the correctional system. Investigators examined how the escape occurred, including lapses in staff monitoring, inadequate inventory controls, and weaknesses in security protocols. The escape exposed vulnerabilities not only at Clinton Correctional Facility but in maximum security systems nationwide, leading to revisions in procedures, staff training, and monitoring practices. The manhunt underscored the stakes involved in managing high-risk inmates and the importance of integrating both human vigilance and technological measures to prevent similar incidents. Beyond the operational aspects, the manhunt had profound psychological and cultural implications. It was a story of tension, suspense, and the high stakes of life-and-death pursuit. For the public, it reinforced the perception of Clinton Correctional Facility as both a feared institution and a site of human drama, where calculated planning and extreme circumstances collided. For inmates and staff alike, the escape and subsequent manhunt became a case study in risk, resilience, and the limits of control in a maximum security environment. In the end, the 23-day manhunt not only brought Richard Matt and David Sweat to their fates, Matt killed, Sweat captured alive, but also solidified the escape as a defining moment in Clinton Correctional Facility's history. It highlighted the extraordinary lengths to which law enforcement must go to recapture dangerous criminals, the challenges posed by geography and environment, and the consequences of lapses in security. The aftermath remains a vivid reminder that even the most secure facilities face unforeseen threats, and that human determination, whether in pursuit or escape, can challenge even the most formidable systems. The 2015 escape of Richard Matt and David Sweat from Clinton Correctional Facility sent shockwaves through the U.S. correctional system, prompting a nationwide re-examination of prison security protocols. While the breakout itself was a dramatic testament to the prisoners' ingenuity, the real lasting impact was felt in the immediate scrutiny and subsequent reforms aimed at preventing a recurrence. The escape exposed vulnerabilities not only in the physical infrastructure of maximum security facilities but also in administrative procedures, staff oversight, and the broader strategies used to manage high-risk inmates. Following the escape, internal and external investigations were launched to determine how two inmates could circumvent one of the most secure prisons in the nation. Investigators found multiple lapses, including inadequate monitoring of work details, failure to notice smuggled tools, insufficient surveillance of critical areas, and gaps in communication among staff. The discovery that Matt and Sweat were able to cut through steel pipes and navigate tunnels without detection revealed the inherent limitations of even the most robust security systems. It became clear that maximum security status alone, with high walls and armed guards, was not enough to prevent determined inmates from exploiting weaknesses. As a direct consequence, Clinton Correctional Facility underwent comprehensive reforms. These included stricter monitoring of inmate labor programs, more frequent and randomized inspections of cells and work areas, and upgrades to surveillance technology such as high-definition cameras, motion sensors, and alarm systems. Staff training was also overhauled, emphasizing vigilance, adherence to protocol, and rapid reporting of irregularities. Officers were retrained to recognize subtle warning signs of potential escape planning, from suspicious behavior to missing or damaged equipment. These measures were designed not only to close gaps that Matt and Sweat had exploited but also to create a culture of constant awareness and accountability within the facility. The escape also prompted broader policy reviews across maximum security prisons nationwide. Lawmakers, corrections officials, and security experts examined whether existing regulations sufficiently addressed risks posed by high-profile, dangerous inmates. Recommendations included implementing stricter oversight of tools and construction materials, improving record-keeping, and enhancing interagency coordination in the event of emergencies. In many ways, the incident served as a case study in crisis management, demonstrating how failures in human vigilance and procedural enforcement can undermine even the most sophisticated security infrastructure. Beyond procedural and technological reforms, the escape highlighted the human factor in prison security. Even the most secure walls and advanced surveillance systems are dependent on the actions and attention of staff. Inadequate staffing levels, lapses in judgment, or routine complacency can create opportunities for escape. Clinton Correctional Facility's experience illustrated that maintaining maximum security requires more than physical barriers. It demands continuous diligence, situational awareness, and a culture in which every employee understands the stakes and takes responsibility for maintaining control. The 2015 escape also had a significant impact on public perception and trust in the correction system. Clinton Correctional Facility had long been considered nearly impenetrable, and the breakout challenged that perception. News coverage, documentaries, and widespread media attention focused on the audacity of the escape, the manhunt that followed, and the failures that allowed it to occur. For the public, it was a stark reminder that even secure prisons can fail, and that ongoing oversight and accountability are essential to ensuring public safety. Another important aspect of the impact on prison security was the psychological effect on staff and inmates. Guards became more vigilant, aware that lapses could have serious consequences not just for the prison's reputation but also for their own safety. Inmates, meanwhile, were reminded of the limits and challenges of escaping from a maximum security environment. The event underscored the tension between human ambition and institutional control, illustrating how both creativity and desperation can exploit weaknesses in even the most fortified settings. In the long term, the escape has served as a cautionary tale and benchmark for evaluating security in correctional facilities across the United States. Training programs now include detailed case studies of the mat and sweat escape, emphasizing the importance of constant observation, layered security, and proactive intervention. Lessons learned have informed the design of new prisons, the development of monitoring technologies, and the protocols governing high-risk inmate management. The reforms implemented in the wake of the escape represent a broader understanding that security is a dynamic process requiring continual assessment, adaptation, and improvement. Ultimately, the 2015 breakout transformed how Clinton Correctional Facility, and by extension maximum security prisons nationwide, approaches security. It reinforced that even the most formidable barriers can be breached without vigilant oversight, careful procedures, and rigorous staff training. The escape reshaped correctional strategies, influenced policy, and left an enduring legacy, that the security of a prison is only as strong as the systems, technology, and human vigilance supporting it. Clinton Correctional Facility may remain one of the toughest prisons in the nation, but the lessons from Matt and Sweat's escape continue to guide every aspect of its operation, ensuring that the mistakes of the past inform the safeguards of the future. Clinton Correctional Facility's notoriety extends far beyond its walls, reaching into the realms of media coverage, popular culture, and public fascination. Known for its maximum security status, harsh climate, and infamous inmates, the prison has long captured the imagination of journalists, authors, filmmakers, and the general public. Its reputation was solidified by high-profile events such as the 2015 escape of Richard Matt and David Sweat, which showcased both the audacity of the inmates and the challenges of maintaining security in one of the nation's most formidable correctional facilities. The combination of a remote location, extreme weather, and a long history of housing dangerous criminals has made Clinton a symbol of both fear and intrigue in American society. Media attention has played a central role in shaping the prison's public image. The 2015 escape in particular drew national and international coverage, with news outlets broadcasting live updates, detailed maps, and analysis of the manhunt. Headlines often described Clinton as a fortress, a frozen prison, or Little Siberia, emphasizing both its maximum security status and the harsh conditions endured by inmates. News stories frequently explored the backgrounds of the escapees, the meticulous planning involved in the breakout, and the massive law enforcement response, all of which amplified the facility's notoriety. Documentaries, podcasts, and true crime shows have since revisited the escape, often framing Clinton Correctional Facility as a central character in a dramatic narrative of danger, cunning, and human ingenuity. The prison's reputation is also intertwined with its long history of housing high-profile and dangerous criminals. Over the decades, Clinton has confined murderers, armed robbers, and organized crime figures whose crimes have captured public attention. This concentration of high-risk inmates has contributed to the perception that the prison is a place of extreme danger and strict control. Even before the 2015 escape, Clinton's status as a maximum security facility with a remote, harsh environment helped create a mystique that separated it from more ordinary correctional institutions. Its nickname, Little Siberia, evokes isolation, endurance, and psychological pressure, reinforcing the image of a prison designed to break both body and spirit. Pop culture has further cemented Clinton Correctional Facility's place in the public imagination. Films, television shows, and books have often drawn inspiration from its history, events, and environment. The 2015 escape in particular has been dramatized in true crime series and documentaries, emphasizing suspense, strategy, and survival in extreme conditions. These portrayals highlight not only the daring of the escapees but also the formidable nature of the prison itself, creating a narrative where Clinton is almost a character in its own right, a frozen, impenetrable fortress that challenges anyone who dares to confront it. The facility's portrayal in media has contributed to a perception of Clinton as a legendary institution, known as much for its psychological and environmental challenges as for its physical security measures. Clinton's reputation is further reinforced by its extreme climate and isolation, which are often highlighted in media stories and documentaries. The nickname Little Siberia is a constant point of reference, symbolizing not just geographic location but also the psychological and physical endurance required of inmates. Journalists and storytellers frequently describe the bitter winters, snow-covered forests, and icy rivers surrounding the prison, illustrating how the environment itself acts as a deterrent to escape. This combination of natural and constructed barriers enhances the mystique of Clinton Correctional Facility, making it a symbol of resilience, danger, and human challenge in the public consciousness. The prison's notoriety also has practical consequences for the facility and its staff. High-profile media coverage increases scrutiny from government officials, oversight agencies, and the public. Every incident, from minor disturbances to major escapes, is magnified in the spotlight, placing additional pressure on corrections officers to maintain order and ensure that security protocols are strictly followed. Staff must operate under intense observation, aware that lapses can become national headlines. Similarly, the prison's reputation as a formidable institution means that inmates are constantly aware of the high stakes involved in any attempt at defiance or escape, reinforcing a culture of compliance and vigilance. Clinton Correctional Facility's place in popular culture has also shaped broader perceptions of the American prison system. By highlighting the extreme measures taken to contain dangerous criminals, the media and entertainment industry have created a narrative in which Clinton represents both the power and the limitations of the corrections system. Its stories of daring escapes, high-profile inmates, and harsh winters serve as case studies in security, human behavior, and the psychological impact of isolation, influencing public discourse about incarceration, punishment, and rehabilitation. Ultimately, Clinton Correctional Facility's reputation is a product of history, environment, and human drama. Its notoriety is built on decades of housing high-risk offenders, enduring extreme environmental conditions, and capturing the public imagination through media coverage and popular culture. From its walls and watchtowers to its frozen forests and icy rivers, every aspect of the facility contributes to a perception of extreme security, danger, and intrigue. Whether viewed as a fortress, a symbol of punishment, or a dramatic setting for human stories, Clinton Correctional Facility continues to hold a powerful place in the American imagination, its reputation shaped as much by perception as by reality. Life inside Clinton Correctional Facility is a harsh, structured, and highly controlled existence, designed to maintain security while managing some of the most dangerous inmates in New York State. Unlike lower security prisons, where inmates may enjoy relative freedoms, maximum security facilities such as Clinton impose strict routines, constant surveillance, and rigorous regulations that govern almost every aspect of daily life. These measures are intended to minimize risk, prevent violence, and maintain order, but they also create an environment that is mentally and physically demanding for prisoners. Understanding daily life at Clinton provides insight into both the challenges faced by inmates and the strategies the facility employs to maintain control. Inmates at Clinton follow a highly regimented schedule that structures every hour of their day. Mornings typically begin early, often before sunrise, with roll calls to ensure that all prisoners are accounted for. Breakfast is served in shifts or in individual cells, depending on the security level of each unit, and inmates are required to adhere strictly to these schedules. Afterward, prisoners may be assigned to work details or educational programs. Work assignments can include kitchen duties, laundry, maintenance, or other labor within the facility, providing a structured routine but also keeping prisoners occupied under close supervision. These tasks are closely monitored by guards, with officers checking for any signs of contraband or misconduct. Movement within the prison is highly controlled. Inmates rarely move freely. They are escorted by officers when traveling between areas such as the cafeteria, medical facilities, or recreational spaces. Corridors and common areas are lined with surveillance cameras, and officers frequently conduct head counts and searches to ensure compliance. Even minor infractions, such as talking at the wrong time or being out of place, can result in disciplinary action. The strict enforcement of rules is designed to maintain order but also contributes to a sense of constant pressure and vigilance that defines daily life for prisoners. Recreational time and physical activity are limited but carefully structured. Inmates may have access to indoor or outdoor exercise spaces, though these are often scheduled in shifts to prevent overcrowding and maintain security. Outdoor recreation is heavily influenced by the harsh climate of northern New York, with snow, ice, and freezing temperatures often limiting activity during winter months. Even within the facility, recreational spaces are monitored, and interactions among prisoners are closely supervised to prevent conflicts. Physical activity provides a brief respite from the monotony of confinement, but it is always constrained by security protocols. Meals, medical appointments, and visitation are similarly regimented. Inmates receive meals at scheduled times, and these are often delivered in individual portions to reduce the risk of disputes or contraband exchange. Medical care is provided on a controlled basis, with inmates escorted to and from appointments under supervision. Visitation, when allowed, is conducted in secure areas, often with plexiglass barriers, metal detectors, and monitored communications. Family visits are rare opportunities for social contact, and even these are structured to minimize risk. Communication and social interaction are heavily restricted. Prisoners have limited access to phones, mail, and educational or recreational programs. Conversations are often monitored, and any unusual behavior or attempts to circumvent rules are immediately flagged by staff. The environment creates a constant tension, as inmates must navigate both the psychological pressures of confinement and the social dynamics of a population of high-risk offenders. Conflicts are common, and officers must remain vigilant to prevent disputes from escalating into violence. The harsh climate and isolation of Clinton Correctional Facility further amplify the challenges of daily life. Nicknamed Little Siberia, the prison experiences long, bitter winters, with temperatures plunging well below freezing and heavy snow often blanketing the surrounding area. These conditions not only affect outdoor activities but also contribute to a pervasive sense of isolation, as the facility is remote and difficult to access. Inmates must endure the psychological strain of confinement combined with extreme weather, creating an environment where resilience and mental fortitude are constantly tested. Daily life at Clinton also imposes psychological challenges. Inmates experience limited autonomy, constant surveillance, and a strict hierarchy enforced by both guards and other prisoners. The combination of isolation, routine, and environmental stress can exacerbate anxiety, frustration, and mental fatigue. Prisoners must develop coping mechanisms to navigate this environment, whether through work, limited recreation, or maintaining a sense of routine within their cells. Even minor deviations from expected behavior can result in disciplinary action, emphasizing the strict control exerted over daily life. Finally, life at Clinton Correctional Facility is a continuous negotiation between order, compliance, and the desire for autonomy. Inmates must adapt to a highly regulated environment while managing the stress of isolation, harsh climate, and interpersonal dynamics. Every aspect of their day, from meals and work to recreation and visitation, is framed by security considerations, reflecting the maximum security priorities of the institution. Daily life at Clinton is not merely about survival. It is about navigating a complex, high-stakes environment where every action is monitored, every movement is controlled, and every day presents both physical and psychological challenges. In essence, the routines and restrictions at Clinton Correctional Facility create an environment that tests the resilience, patience, and adaptability of every inmate. The combination of strict schedules, limited freedom, constant observation, and extreme weather conditions makes it one of the most demanding correctional environments in the country, a place where daily life itself is a reflection of the broader principles of control, containment, and security that define maximum security imprisonment. The 2015 escape from Clinton Correctional Facility, coupled with its history as a maximum security prison in one of the coldest and most isolated regions of New York, left an enduring legacy that resonates in both corrections policy and popular culture. Beyond the immediate shock and the massive manhunt that followed, the escape illuminated vulnerabilities within the prison system, prompted significant reforms, and influenced how the public perceives high-security facilities. Clinton's story provides lessons about security, human behavior, and the interplay between environmental and institutional challenges in managing dangerous offenders. One of the most immediate lessons was the importance of continuous vigilance and procedural oversight. Investigations following the escape revealed lapses in staff supervision, failures to notice missing tools, and gaps in monitoring inmate activities. These oversights underscored the critical role that human attention plays alongside physical infrastructure and technology in maintaining prison security. Maximum security facilities cannot rely solely on walls, cameras, and alarms. They require a culture of accountability, rigorous staff training, and proactive management. The escape became a case study in how small lapses, compounded over time, can culminate in a catastrophic breach of security. The Clinton breakout also emphasized the necessity of upgraded security measures and protocols. In response, the facility implemented reforms such as enhanced surveillance systems, improved inspection routines, and stricter controls over inmate access to tools and work areas. These changes not only addressed the specific vulnerabilities exploited by Richard Matt and David Sweat but also served as a model for other correctional institutions facing similar challenges. By modernizing security practices and emphasizing both procedural and technological safeguards, Clinton Correctional Facility set a precedent for preventing future incidents while reinforcing the importance of adapting security strategies in response to evolving risks. Another lesson from the escape was the role of psychological insight in prison management. The determination, planning, and resourcefulness demonstrated by Matt and Sweat highlighted the mental acuity and resilience that inmates can display, even under extreme confinement. Understanding inmate psychology became a critical element of corrections policy, prompting staff training on recognizing warning signs of escape planning, behavioral anomalies, and risk factors associated with high-stakes inmates. The event illustrated that managing a maximum security population is not just about physical containment. It requires awareness of the cognitive and emotional strategies inmates may employ to challenge the system. The environmental factors surrounding Clinton Correctional Facility also contributed to the lessons learned. Its remote location, harsh winters, and rugged terrain, factors that initially seemed to favor containment, proved to be double-edged swords. While they limited escape routes and created natural obstacles, they also complicated search and rescue operations once the breakout occurred. Law enforcement agencies and correctional administrators recognized the importance of incorporating environmental considerations into emergency planning, ensuring that future responses to escapes account for both human and geographic challenges. Beyond the operational and policy lessons, Clinton Correctional Facility's escape and history left a notable mark on popular culture and public perception. The nickname Little Siberia, the dramatic 2015 escape, and the prolonged manhunt captured national attention through news coverage, documentaries, podcasts, and true crime series. Clinton became a symbol of both the dangers inherent in maximum security incarceration and the ingenuity of those willing to defy extreme odds. Its depiction in media contributed to a broader narrative about high-security prisons, shaping public understanding of the challenges and realities faced by inmates, staff, and law enforcement alike. The escape also served as a cautionary tale for correctional institutions nationwide. It highlighted the interconnectedness of infrastructure, staff training, surveillance, and procedural oversight, demonstrating that failure in any one area could compromise the entire system. Policymakers and prison administrators have since used Clinton as a benchmark for evaluating security, planning emergency responses, and ensuring that maximum security facilities meet rigorous standards. The legacy of the escape is thus both practical and symbolic, reinforcing the idea that security is a dynamic process requiring constant attention, adaptation, and improvement. Furthermore, Clinton's history and high-profile events have influenced educational and training programs for corrections personnel. Case studies of the escape are now commonly included in training modules, emphasizing the importance of situational awareness, communication, and proactive monitoring. Staff are taught to anticipate potential vulnerabilities, identify early warning signs, and respond effectively to emergencies. The lessons learned extend beyond a single facility, shaping best practices and standards across the U.S. corrections system. Ultimately, the legacy of Clinton Correctional Facility is multifaceted. It serves as a reminder of the complex challenges inherent in managing a maximum security population, the extreme environmental and psychological pressures faced by inmates, and the importance of robust security measures and vigilant oversight. Its story has become part of American cultural consciousness, blending history, drama, and policy lessons into a narrative that underscores both the power and limitations of correctional institutions. Clinton Correctional Facility remains a case study in resilience, risk management, and human ingenuity, demonstrating that the lessons of the past continue to inform the future of prison security and public understanding. In the end, Clinton Correctional Facility is more than just a prison. It is a symbol of the extremes of human endurance, both for those confined within its walls and for the officers charged with maintaining order. Its harsh winters, maximum security measures, and history of high-profile events, like the daring 2015 escape, have made it a testing ground for resilience, ingenuity, and vigilance. From the meticulous planning of Richard Matt and David Sweat to the massive manhunt and subsequent reforms, the story of Clinton reminds us that security, control, and freedom are deeply intertwined. Yet, beyond the headlines and the dramatic escapes, the true legacy of Clinton Correctional Facility lies in the lessons it teaches, the importance of constant vigilance, the value of learning from past mistakes, and the enduring tension between human determination and institutional authority. Whether viewed through the lens of history, policy, or popular culture, Clinton stands as a testament to both the challenges of incarceration and the unyielding complexity of the human spirit. It is a place where caution meets courage, rules meet ingenuity, and every day tells a story of survival, strategy, and the pursuit of freedom, even in the coldest corners of New York State.